Hey there, so today we have another review, and this is a battle beers from two beers from Sixpoint. This is barrel-aged Righteous Ale and Vide Righteous. This is a wide distribution beer. This is an imperial version of their rye ale, Righteous Ale, and it sits in bourbon and rye barrels, and it comes in at 10.5%. And then this is a special release. You have to go on the Sixpoint app, order beer, very easy. Then you get to pick up your beer in Red Hook at the brewery. And this is Vide Righteous vanilla version of that beer, and this beer is bumped up to 12.3%. So I'm very curious about that. Should have asked them about that, how that ABV bump worked. But let's dig into this one. On the aroma, you get that familiar rye spiciness, and also just big malt character. Think Doppelbock. I don't know if they use Munich malt in here, but it has that just intense maltiness to it, if that makes any sense. It's tons of Maillard, it's tons of breadiness, it's malts for days. Cheers. And then on the palate, it's actually very nimble for a 10.5% beer. Super dangerous. Wow. The barrel character is not that obvious, actually. And then up front, it has a little bit of that kind of double black character, just again, familiar things. Rich, chewy malts, toasted qualities, a little bit of toffee, dense toasted breads. And then on the back end, a big spiciness rides in. It might help from some of that barrel character, some woodiness, but there is a bitterness to this one. There is a spiciness to this one. And then it just has a little bit of that rounding off of the barrel character, and has a warming character. Mouth feels medium. There is that little bit of graininess driving around in there, just full on malts, full on like rye character and some bitterness smacking in there. And then it has a punch in the end that if you like something that's a strong ale, if you like burly beers, then you're gonna like this one. There's a good amount of barrel character. There's a good amount of just like booze and bigness to this one. It's a very bodacious beer. It's very nice. Let's dig into the Vide Righteous. That smells very different. There's a intense confectionery character to it. It has this kind of like sprinkling of sugariness and vanilla. It just like dominates the aroma. And underneath you get that kind of character, the rye, the malts in there, but very different. Cheers. So Shane Welch, owner of Sixpoint, really awesome that he invited me out there and hung out. But when he first gave this to me, it was actually pretty cold. And I just assumed it was barrel-aged Righteous Ale. And what happens is that if you have a little bit cold, this one doesn't obviously tell you that it's barrel-aged, but this one reminds you of those vanilla, sweet, confectionery sugar flavors and those vanillins that you extract from a charred bourbon or rye barrel. As it warms up, it's a little too sweet for that. But it does remind you of more barrel character than this, even though they sat in different barrels. But this one, the vanilla is so intense that it tells you very obviously that this was barrel aged. So up front, if you could sort of make toffee and maple syrup into cotton candy, then it sort of tastes like that. It has this beautiful spun cotton candy flavor dancing around there. The malts drive through. It follows this beer with the little bit of spiciness and that bitterness coming through, but it's so much more soft and rounded. This one is more desserty, and it literally just tastes more like toffee, creme brulee, and all those flavors. And this being higher ABV, the perception is so much lower in how much alcohol it has. It's insane. So as I was saying, this is a big, burly, bodacious beer. You want to have it if you really like strong flavors and want to have a punch in your face flavor profile. This one's more towards what I think people are looking for these days with barrel-aged beers. They want something more pastry-like, more dessert-like. The vanilla is not too intense that it tastes like someone threw a bunch of vanilla extract in there. Instead, it plays very well with the barrel character. These are both fantastic beers. If I had to choose, I don't know. I think both have similar merit. You know, this one is just the one that you want to sip on and allow for the big flavors to dominate your palate. This one is the one where if you just want to be reminded of being a kid, then you go back to it and think about cotton candy if it was a beer. So pretty much even. We're going with a Cuvee here. I don't know if the brewers or Shane agree with this, but we're gonna try it out. Nice melting of character. The vanilla is actually not that obvious. It's actually a little bit more soft than the straight barrel aged righteous. I like it. There's a little bit of vanilla character. It's not as dominant. Cheers. You know what? That's pretty good. Yeah, see, this is where blending doesn't always work. These two beers have sort of just gotten muted. This one worked for its flavor profile. It was vanilla forward. It was pastry-like. It was cotton candy. It was maple syrup. It was toffee. This one was big, bitter, rye spice, barrel character, boozy. Yeah. Now I've sort of just muted those two and made them both not exciting beers. This sort of is a middle ground that doesn't really work. So I know I'd recommend doing cuvées and trying out things, and I've had a great success to it. I think blending beers is something that's super underrated, but this one didn't work. This one is just super boring to me. I mean, it's great beer, but the barrel character is lost. The bitterness is lost. The vanilla character is lost. It just is big, boozy, malty beer that just sits on the palate. It has a little bit of vanilla, has a little bit of spice and bitterness. It's a middle ground that you don't want. You want big flavors in these two, and then this one's just a super dangerously drinkable 10-11% beer. Yeah, wow, it's so bland. Wow. I mean, it's not bad beer. It's just like doesn't. It somehow combining these two made the beer so much worse, which is insane. So until next time, guys, cheers. Try these out. Cheers. Later.